Discussion on the effects of the tariffs, what they could mean for us. Joining us in the studio is financial advisor Mark Pancratz. Welcome back in.
Thanks for having me.
Always good to see you. We just saw with the latest numbers, the NASDAQ is up 15 points. What does that tell you?
Well, that's as of right now, right? Earlier today, the market was down a bunch, and then there was some fake news that went out there that Trump was going to delay some of these tariffs 90 days, except for against China, and the market shot up actually positive 8%. So the market is really uncertain right now about what's going on. But I do think you're going to continue to see some turmoil and some uncertainty until some of these, some things that Trump's proposed actually work themselves out.
How worried should we be right now overall?
Well, I think worry is completely normal, right? When you're looking at your accounts and you're seeing down and you don't know how much are things going to go up and when are they going to go up, I think the worry is normal. But for those people that have a plan, they have an idea of how all the parts and pieces of their financial picture, how they work together, I think some of that worry diminishes a little bit because they know that over time, history has shown us that when things go down, they're eventually going to come back up. So if you have the right perspective within your plan, you'll be okay.
And you just worry about that timetable, depending on where you are in your life.
Yeah, I mean, people that, that are a couple of years away from retirement or in retirement, their thoughts, feelings about this pullback are different than somebody that may be in their 30s and 40s. And so everybody's situation's a little bit different, but don't feel bad if you have concern right now. Reach out to somebody, ask questions to get more clarity, to help you get more reassured.
Education is key here. Let's talk about why we're here. The impact of tariffs on the economy. And I know that's something that takes a minute to explain, but a lot of people are wondering, okay, how did we arrive here?
Well, Trump, there's been thoughts about how do you establish these different philosophies, and Trump went all in right away. There was no layout of the game plan, so that causes uncertainty about how these other countries are going to react. If you look at it, a lot of the data shows that there's a lot of heavy tariffs against the United States, and the tariffs that we have implemented against these countries are lower. And so there is some understanding to the right sizing of this, but there's going to be concern because cost of goods are going to go up. I spoke with one of our clients who's a local business owner here. He had some goods coming over from China. That tariff immediately hit those goods. And so it was going to charge him an extra $16,000 just for those goods to come to the United States.
And you've got to pass that along.
And it comes right away. There was no delay in the tariff. So that type of additional expense is causing the concern for the consumer in the United States.
All right. What constitutes a bear market versus a bull market? These are questions many of you wanted us to ask.
Yeah, well, a bear market is anytime you see a 20% decline in one of the indices. So, and then a bull market is when it's going forward. It's going positive in the other direction. So right now, we are leaning into that bear market as that market has continued to go down. But the one thing to note is that if you look at the market as a whole, the S&P 500, if you look at that indice, there has been an average intra-year pullback of about 14%.
Okay.
And typically the market is up on average in 1 year increments almost 75% of the time. So even when the market ends up being up at the end of the year, typically at some point in the year you've had a 14% decline. So these declines are normal. This one is different. Tariffs are the buzzword today. But this too will pass, but we just don't know that time frame.
So if I ask you, can we be dealing with this long term? We don't know.
We don't know.
What do you think?
I think it's here to stay for a little bit, but I do think this is going to start to flush itself out over the next 6 months. I think we'll start to get more clarity. This administration will have to make some adjustments because you saw today the Federal Reserve had a closed door meeting. And so does that give the indication that maybe they're going to lower interest rates, which would be good for the expenses to the U.S. consumer? So until some of those things flush out, it's going to be here to stay. But I don't anticipate this being a long-term where it's a 12, 18, 24-month type thing.
Very quickly, one last question, and this is for so many people who are on a tight budget. You don't have savings or investments. What is your advice to them?
Well, if you don't have investments, now is a good time to actually get in, right? When the market is down, even if it's a little bit, if it's $50, $100, a little bit matters. And then the hard part is if you are on a tight budget, it's actually you have to go in and analyze the budget. Are there things that you can pull back spending on? Are there shifts that you can pick up? Are there things that you can do up to generate a little bit more revenue? Those are the harder things, but those are the things that we can control as the consumer. We can't control what the market's going to do today or tomorrow or what tariffs are going to look like.
All right. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having me.